So Nintendo announced a new version of the 3DS called the Nintendo 2DS, and I'm really amazed by how outrageously pissed I've seen people get online over this. I mean, I would have made people weren't pissed when they announced the Wii Mini last year, and the Nintendo 2DS to me makes a lot more sense than the Wii Mini did. If somehow you don't know, Nintendo 2DS, it's a new version of the 3DS with it doesn't just it plays Nintendo 3DS games in 2D mode. It plays Nintendo 2DS games, and other than that, it has every feature that the Nintendo 3DS has, except it doesn't have stereo speakers. Only has one speaker, and it has a new design that doesn't fold, and it's cheaper. It's about $30 cheaper than the original model Nintendo 3DS. And what Nintendo said when they revealed this thing is that we're aiming this at younger kids, kids 7 and under, whose parents are looking for a cheaper system, and who, are 3D warning on the box, and it's like, oh, I don't want to get my kids something that it's going to damage their eyesight. And the thing is, I've seen many stories over the years of parents just not wanting to get their kids 3DS because of the 3D warning. And the parents that are like that aren't going to be people who are knowledgeable about games and even care that will know how to use the parental controls or be able to learn how to use them. They just want to get their kids something handed to them and not have to worry about anything. And that being said, the fact that the design is non-folding, that it's a non-folding design for the first time since the Game Boy Micro, that makes it cheaper for Nintendo to manufacture, hence lower price. And it's even though the screens are exposed now, the actual hardware itself is going to be more durable with fewer moving parts on it. So, and really, what I see this as is basically, well, Nintendo themselves said it's aimed at younger kids to be their first handheld game system. And I remember I have a few different friends who have worked at retail, and they've told me over the course of a couple of years, like last year and the year before that, and parents are buying their kids Nintendo DSi as their first gaming system over Nintendo 3DS because it's the cheapest system available. It's the least sophisticated version of the hardware available, and they don't find it necessary for all the features Nintendo 3DS has to give to their kids for their first system. Even up to last year, at least there's still Pokemon Black and White 2 coming out, but as of this year, the DS line, the original DS from the seventh generation, is really pretty much done with. It turns 9 years old this year. Yeah, this year Nintendo DS is going to be 9 years old. The platform is we're pretty much done with it. It's been succeeded by 3DS, and so Nintendo makes a lower cost version of the 3DS that doesn't display in 3D. So there's not that concern about kids' eyesight, little younger kids' eyesight, and it makes the system cheaper to manufacture. It's more aimed at younger kids and more importantly at their parents. Met some kids who wanted a 3DS, but their parents said it was too expensive. So maybe the $30 difference. The $30 is the difference between getting a Nintendo 3DS and being able to get a 3DS and a retail game. So that could be that could make the deal for certain parents who are out there looking for a new handheld system for their kids, or get their kids their first system. I know I was pretty young when I got my first Game Gear, and you know it's just nice to. I think and the fact that it's coming out the same day as the new Pokemon games, they're obviously selling this to get as many 3DSs out there as possible and make sure as many people as possible are going to be able to get these the 3DS games in the future. I don't see why people are pissed though. It's like I see people saying, "Oh, it looks it looks stupid. It looks like a toy." It's aimed at younger kids. And I can't believe I live in a world where people are complaining because a video game system looks like a toy. But aside from that, my comments on it, I think at $130, I think at 130 this thing should come with new Super Mario Brothers 2 in it. I think it should come with new Mario Brothers 2. That'd be the perfect packing game for this at $130. If not, I think it should be without any retail games preloaded onto it. I think it should be $100. I think either at $100 or 130 with new Mario Brothers 2 pre-installed in it. I think either of those is a dream deal. 130 without a game for this, it's not as good a deal to me. I know Nintendo's trying to get every bit of value they can out of it for themselves, but I think adding a pre-downloaded game to it like Mario Brothers 2 or having the system be $100, I think either of those is really the ideal package for this. 130 without a game, I think they could have did a little better than that. But aside from that, I don't understand why anyone would be pissed about this. It's not like they're discontinuing the 3DS. It's not like Nintendo's breaking into your house and taking the 3DS or 3DS XL you already have and replacing it with this. It's just it's an option for very young kids to be their first game system. And it's really this is really more to appeal to the parents of younger kids than the kids themselves. The kids who obviously want to play these games, and for the $8 cheaper, their parents will actually at least buy them a system so they can play it. And the one thing I'll say about the design that I do not understand is the fact that there's still binocular cameras on the back of it, which is really weird. For making a budget version of this system that doesn't have unnecessary hardware. It doesn't have a stereoscopic screen, so why would it have still have binocular cameras on the back? So this thing could technically take 3D pictures, but not be able to actually display them, which is kind of strange. Another thing I'm wondering is if they'll actually update the operating system for the Nintendo 2DS, because, like for instance, the Wii Mini, they did not update the operating system. So when you turn this thing on, you see the Wii Channel menu with all these empty icons on it, and the only icons that'll ever be on this thing are the disc channel and the virtual console manual. I mean the manual for the digital manual for the system, and I think the system preferences. And aside from that, there are just dozens and dozens of unfulfilled of empty icons that'll never be filled because the system has no Wi-Fi and can't download games to it or anything like that. So, and because of that, it makes it look kind of lazy, like when you turn on Wii Mini and see the empty menu. And I wonder if for the Nintendo 2DS, if they're going to, if in the options there's a setting to check the 3D screen and it'll show you a test pattern with a 3DS logo popping in and out. Are they going to leave that in for the Nintendo 2DS? That would be kind of funny if they did. That's all I have to say about that. I don't understand why people are pissed about it. Like if you look at the official video Nintendo had for it, it's just buried in thumbs down comments. You could rate it thumbs up or thumbs down. It's just buried in thumbs down. People are so pissed about this, and it's funny because I remember when the Game Boy Advance SP was announced. This was back in late 2002 or it was early 2003. I think the Game Boy Advance SP was announced, and it was very controversial when it was first revealed. There were people saying, "Oh, it's too small. It's made for Japanese hands. Americans will never be able to play this thing." And it sucks that it won't take double A's, and the batteries are gonna wear out, and then the thing will be useless. The Game Boy Advance SP was very controversial when it was first revealed, and there's if you look at some of the dissatisfaction about Nintendo 2DS, that's what a lot of people were that upset about Game Boy Advance SP when it was first revealed in the comments section of news stories or on forums. I've only now a lot of that doesn't exist because it was it was a decade ago now, believe it or not. But I've seen comments of people literally saying this is the end of Nintendo. Nintendo's screwed. They've doomed themselves by announcing this, and it's like people just overreact to stuff. So that's my thoughts on the Nintendo 2DS, and thank you for watching.